Good evening, good evening. Yes, this is Spirit Journey. And yes, hello, Sunday evening. Yes, it is, what's that, November 4th, 2018. And it's probably near 8 p.m. in the evening. What time is it? Oh my, my mistake. Wow, how time's flying. It's about 12 to 10 p.m. New York time. Yes, I had a very interesting day and it was just a little stressful. How do I want to begin this? Um, Two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about, even though they might seem unrelated, but it's really related. I want to talk about family and I want to talk about the upcoming election that's in 2 days. You know, someone, you could love someone. You could want to sacrifice for that person or thing. But sometimes people may try to twist it around and make you look like a bad person, make you look like you don't love who you love. And that hurt. And that's how my day began. I had gotten a phone call, and the phone call upset me. The phone call made me feel like I had to defend myself. And it's the same thing about the upcoming elections. Yes, hey, hi, Johnny Dragon. Yes, hello, I'm just getting started. Yes, good evening, viewers. Yes, it's good to see, that I have viewers out there. And I hope you guys and gals are having a good day. Yeah, I want to talk about two major things. And again, as I said, they really are related: family, politics, country, and all that. I always felt like growing up, I always felt like I had to prove to other people, prove that my loyalty, had to prove that I'm worth something, whether it be being a veteran or when I was actually serving in the military in the United States of America, or even feeling I have to defend myself about who I may want to vote for or not vote for. I don't like to feel pressured in doing something I don't want to do. I don't feel that I pressure people to vote how I want them to, or how I'm going to, how I show my affection or love for family members. You know, I, I feel people have a right to express themselves how they want to express themselves. But again, without the intent is very important. Don't go out your way to try to insult people, to offend people. But I feel that people are offending me. And I feel a little defensive when someone is trying to manipulate by accusing that you don't really love that person in not so many words, and that's how I feel. And so when I so what does that have to do? Like, okay, that's family, but even with politics, how people may oh, you're voting for so and so, or oh, you better not vote for so and so, or you better vote for so and so. We are all born with freedoms, and you have a right to do or not do on your own dime. I don't believe in imposing on people, and I feel like if you want to do something, you initiate it and you pay the tab. But when you get everybody, you want everybody to join in your agenda, and then you want everybody else to pay for it. How I feel, when I want something, I save and I buy it. If I want someone to get something, and if they don't have the money to buy it, and if I care about the person, if I have it, if it's not a money's not an issue, I just buy it for them. But let me get my dog here. Come here. Come. I'm sorry. My little doggy sees me, and she wants me to play with her. Oh, she's gonna be barking soon. I'm sorry. Let me try to grab her. Come here. Come, come here. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a little peanut here. I love my little doggy here. Yeah, she gets playful at night, and sometimes she'll run under the bed because she wants me to chase her. She gets all this energy and playfulness when I'm in bed. You know, she's really sweet. Okay, I let you go. You can sit with your other members. Yeah, I have my two other dogs there in the bed with me. You see what she's doing. It's really cute. But yeah, well, this is what happened with the family situation. Okay. Now, my mother is 89 years old, should be 90 in about 3 more months. Okay. She's basically very healthy. She can walk unassisted, but sometimes she might lose her balance. And of course, you're always worried when an older person loses balance because they can fall and break their hip. And that's what happened to a relative of mine, okay? They fell twice and was badly hurt. So I understand that. Now, my mother is not a poor woman. She has an estate. My father worked his buns off to make sure. I remember my father saying before he died, he said, I'm working really hard. My father was very good in investments. He had a very genius mind. We didn't get along, I have to be honest. We didn't get along. I didn't get along with him, but some things about him were excellent. And one thing that was excellent about him was that he had the drive to work hard so my mother doesn't have to beg bread. Okay? So she's very comfortable and a little stubborn at times. I care about my mother. And one day, well, today, I get a call from a family member, and it's how the person worded it. Now, again, when it comes to money, my mother's very, very conservative, very conservative. And when she wants something, she'll buy it. Okay? So there was a problem with the television set. She has several televisions in her home, and but the big one broke. So they put the extra one that she has in the room that she stays in during the daytime. And at night, when she retires, she has the one in her bedroom. Okay, so there's no loss. So when this family member called me and said that, do you want to? How did he word it? Oh, I forget how they said it. It was a wording, but it implied that, Do you want them, do you want her to have a quality of life? Now, who doesn't want their mother to have quality of life? Her life is very good. But what is happening also now, her memory is starting to slip, but her body and everything is excellent, you know. But yeah, her mental faculties is slowly degenerating. And I think at times quickly, you know. And that makes me sad. So I try to go over and I bring food over because now she doesn't like to cook. So when I go over to visit, I bring food. And I try to encourage her to walk, to go outside. She likes to spend all day just at the television set. And I want her to get up and walk around so that she doesn't lose ability to walk. So when this family member called me and said, you know, we want to, you know, pitch in and replace the television and so she could have a quality of life. And then I'm thinking, but it was how he worded it. But I started thinking, I said, wait a minute. I said, well, I was just over there and she has a television in that room. And I didn't see how, you know, I said, well, you know, I, I, I don't want to invest in something that's going to keep her sedentary. You know, I go over, I try to encourage her to walk. So the person elaborated. And the thing that really got me was when they said, oh, you mean you don't want her to have quality of life? And then I kind of paused for a moment and I said, well, wait a minute. Um, I was just over there. She has several televisions. I said, wait a minute. If you would have come to me and asked and say, you know, she was complaining about the loss of her large television set, she misses it, or something like to that effect. But no, it's something initiated by him and another person, and that I felt it was a judgment call to imply that I don't want my mother to have quality of life. I became angry. I said, wait a minute, you're twisting it around, and for you to get this large, they want to get one of those giant flat screen. I said, did she complain about it? No. So I said, so why is it? It's not like she doesn't have something. I said, I could see that if she didn't have any television, and yes, she does like watching television, but I could see if you would have come to me and say, hey, you know, she's complaining about this and she seems depressed and, you know, I want her to feel better, blah, blah, blah. I said, that would have been something else. But she has. And you know what I didn't say? She has money. She is not a poor woman. If she wanted one, she would be able to get it. So why are they asking me and other members to raise money for something that she could buy herself and if she wanted one? And say, oh, well, you know, she doesn't like to complain. No, my mother is not afraid to speak. She is not and you've seen her on my channel before. She's a real gutsy woman, and when she wants something, she makes it happen for her. And I learned something, and then my two stories about family and the election, all that, everything's going to come in together. I'm just trying to build up a story that I learned many years ago that you can love someone and do things. You could try to cook for them and cook healthy meals. You could offer to buy them furniture because they don't want to buy it. I said, I'll buy you the sofa so you can sleep here if you want to. Those portable ones. It's a lounge, like a sofa and a bed. I said, Mom, this isn't good for you. This is not good for your posture and everything. Blah blah blah. And then the pushback you get. And my mother knows how to use some very colorful language when she wants to. And so, even though I've always wanted to do things for my mom, but then again, at times you get a pushback and insulted when you offer to cook their food for her, um, let's say to exercise with them, to all these things. So I said, you know something? Don't put, see, everybody has a right to live a lifestyle that they choose. And even on the surface, it might look good to, oh, I can do this for that for that person, all these things. And on the surface, it looks good. But they may not want it. And they may not want it from you. And so I had to like bite my lip and say, that person's right. It's not up to me to decide what lifestyle or how they want to live their final years of life. It's not up to me. It's not my decision. It's their decision, and I have to respect that. We all have a right to say no or yes to different matters. And even though it might hurt, to yield that decision, but I have to um, respect that other person's decision. If, let's say, the person is in a coma or things like that, when they cannot make decisions, then that's something else. And I'm not the executor of the estate. So it's really up to the executor of my mother's estate to make those decisions because that is a contract agreement that they made for those other executors, not me. Whether I like it or not, I have to abide by what those rules are. And so sometimes, again, people use weapons of guilt. And a lot of families, not just my family, it could be any family, could do this to individuals. It's about control, and it's about controlling you, controlling the way you feel. And again, it always seems to be about money. So I don't want to stop people from doing what they want to do. If other people want to do something, do it. I'm not going to hold anybody up for doing something. Afford it, do it on your own, impose on other people to do things that you want. The person didn't ask. And I've in the past have initiated something on my own, paid it on my own for them. And then it was rejected. So you have to be very careful. Again, on the surface, it might look all high and mighty, and look at me, I love so and so, and you do something, and then it being rejected. Okay, that can happen. I doubt they asked my mother whether they wanted to do a collection to buy this humongous TV. Now they already have a television in that room. I'm not trying to be stingy or things like that. If TV in there, and yes, I know she loves watching television. That's something else. But she got two, and it's like, hey, I said, I'd rather spend that money on having her teeth done or that new sofa. And I remind her, hey, I told her I would have even bought it for her. I was even going to go to any family member for a collection. Everybody in their collection. Let's do a collection. And this is they did a collection. And she never used the damn thing. They had bought her years ago computer that she never used. But who used it were those people that bought it, that pulled in the money. And I think that's what it's all about. For them to buy her something so they can say it's for her, but then they use it. Okay? So again, all this zeal and putting monies together and to buy something that she never uses and to say the quality of life. And when they say, oh, you don't want her to have a quality of life, I say, you know what's quality of life? Let's get her new teeth so she can enjoy her food better. But again, she doesn't want to go. See, that's what happens. See, I'm learning that as we get older, our thinking does change. Our priorities change too. But just because their priorities one thing doesn't mean that they're going to appreciate your priorities, even though it's for um, bet, bet, their safety. And you have to be really careful because you could offend somebody, make them think that they're a charity case. Um, and again, it's not increasing a quality of life. So I was offended and made to feel insecure. And I said, hey, wait a minute. I said, she didn't ask for it. And she has the money to buy it if she wanted to. She is not a welfare person. She has an estate. So it's like, wow. And so I feel like, oh, they're going to say, I don't want my mother to have a quality of life. Oh, she's a bad person, you know? All my life, I've always felt to prove something. But I stand my ground. Stand your ground, even when your opinion is not popular. I've never been popular in my beliefs. Never. And I'm not going to start now to try to be popular in copying other people's belief systems. I have to live by my belief system. And I don't believe in imposing my belief system on others and then name calling them and trying to be sneaky. Another thing I'm learning is that, and I learned this saying from a person. It's by Maya Angelou, and it said that when someone shows you who they are, believe them, believe them. And so, I'm sorry, my connection's a little. Apologize for that. You see, like certain topics, I notice causes the coverage, this live stream to get quirky. If you talk about politics or things like that, it always seems to go on amok. But either way, so when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I'm seeing something with this person and how they have changed over the years. Now, I respect this family member who called me. I respect them greatly as a child. But in the past 13 years or so, or 50, between 13 and 15 years, I'm seeing another side to this person. And I see that family situations can get very ugly. And that's why I entitled this video with a similar title, that things are going to get ugly. Things are already showing its ugly head. And that when that happened, it was a surprise to me because of this great respect I have for this person. But people change. And it doesn't matter how much you love a person or even how much you love a country, that you have people who throw a banana wrench and sabotage you when the boat starts to rock a little bit too much for them. And they throw you in the middle. And so you get trampled on. And like a nation, our nation too could be trampled on by people whose uh, thinking starts to change on you. One minute they may love your country, and then another moment they compromise. And I feel that's what's happening in American government right now, especially with this election. And again, you have a right to vote for who you want to vote for. You like who you like. You don't like a particular person in politics. That's okay. Don't vote for them. But don't tell somebody because they don't vote the way you do that you don't love your country. Just like implying earlier with my family, oh, you don't believe in the quality of life for your mother. It's a slap in the face. So, but again, we're all entitled to our opinions, and will respect your opinions, and I want my opinion respected also. So I was thinking about like with President Trump, and as many of you know, or maybe some of you don't know, that yes, I did vote for Donald J. Trump. Yes, I did. And why I did is because I did not feel comfortable with the other candidates, especially Hillary Clinton. And I stand by my vote. Even though I am so unpopular, I don't have many friends. And that's okay. That's okay. Be your own friend. Respect yourself and the decision that you decide to vote for or not vote for. I respect myself and I respect the decision that I made. And I made it for the decisions that I did do for. So election time is coming in 2 days. And I watched some of the speeches today and yesterday with Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, excuse me. And again, I don't believe in everything. Some of the things I may not be in favor of what he says, but a lot of things I agree with. And one thing is to make America as great as it can be for all its citizens and those who are lawfully here in the United States. My decision to say that is for several reasons. For one, I am a veteran. I served my country in the United States Navy, and I had an opportunity to visit and live in many different regions on this planet. And I got to see firsthand what it's like to be treated like a foreigner in my own country. Okay, I was born and raised in the United States of America and proud of that. And I see people, and sometimes I have people come to me and they tell me something negative about its citizens, about certain ethnic, well, I should say America. And I don't like that. I didn't like that. And I don't like when you're from another place, and you bite the hand that feeds you. I'm really against that. I'm all for lawful immigration. Most of the people I associated with growing up in New York City were people from other countries. That's how it always was with me. That's who gravitated towards me, and that's who I gravitated to. But as I got older, I started seeing things. I started hearing people say things against my fellow American. And I also would hear immigrants of color from the Caribbean, from Latin America, and they'll say something very anti Black American to my face. And the line of work that industry that I was in my latter years were in fields where most of these new immigrants work in. That's retail and the food industry. Those are the two major industries that they work in. And sometimes I'm the only American there in my area where I'm working. And to see, maybe, maybe, maybe it's like also in those industries, a lot of women. And maybe it's a woman's thing that women against other women, and they say things against other women from the United States of America. I become sensitive about it. And it was even recently that another person from another country in the Americas, from Peru to be exact, and when he implied that people of the United States of America does not have culture, but his country does, I became offended. It's amazing. I get all these people from other places, and when they say that, when it's implied that their country, they have the better school, they have better schools in their country. Oh, they got better this or that. So I'm saying to myself, well, why are you here? That's what I wanted to say. Why are you here? You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't bite the hand that feeds you. The United States of America is the best country in the Americas. We're loved and hated at the same time. Yet people that come into the United States, they don't want to assimilate. They don't want to learn the language. And then they bully Americans because now this demographics is larger than the American black population in New York City, at least. And I see how they treat other American blacks, especially. And I don't like it. And so then I heard about the what do you call it? The caravan, as they call it, and how this caravan from Guatemala and this other country in Central America have forcibly entered Mexico, our neighbor. Mexico's our neighbor. And they were beating up the police officers there. And so, yes, Trump had said if they come to the U.S. border and throw rocks, he said, consider that a weapon. How do you say? Consider that a weapon or something like that. Consider that something like I forget. So if any of you remember what he said, but I took that as, if someone harms you like that, you have a right to protect yourself. And so so again, it's disrespect. It's disrespectful the people of Mexico for them to enter their country forcibly to come here. They could have gone to the countries right next to the countries they're from. So it's not about seeking refuge, political stuff. They could have just go in the country right next to them. But it's not about that. It's about coming into America and to take our resources and to bring as many children here so you can get the benefits because you have to feed them. Yet you can bring them, put them on the WIC program, and all these programs that you as an American got to pay for. And then at the same time, they may say bad things behind your back or in front of your face. And they say these things right in front of me. And I become angry when I hear this. So why is that? Why bother to come here and then say bad things that we don't have culture here? We may not have the same culture as your country, but what we do have is money. And what I learned in all this melee, that money trumps culture. They're coming here for money, period. So forget all this culture, oh, they have better schools and this and that. No, it's about money. See how some of these illegals, and I had to work with illegals in one of the companies I work for, and it just so happened to be in one of the Trump buildings. It wasn't his company, it was a company that rented space in Trump Tower. So I see what goes on, and I see the mockery that they do. And I lived in the state of Hawaii, and I saw there's more illegals in the state of Hawaii than there are American blacks there. And they're pushing out people who are lawfully able to work here, who are, yes, peace and blessings, yes, Yakov, yes, yes, it's good to see you. But yes, so when I hear about the caravan coming in and them assaulting the Mexican police, don't you think they're going to want to try to do that up here? So it's not about peace. It's not, yes, yes, thanks also. Yes, so it's not about peace. It's about enforcing their agenda. And I think it's an agenda. And I have a feeling that they're going to have women with children, and it may or may not even be theirs. There's human trafficking. That's also what Trump talked about. Human trafficking. To make it look like something, like a refugee or whatever, when it's about human trafficking and trafficking children for the sex industry. And then they're going to put these kids, hold them in the arms, and put them up front so that you cannot get to the adults. So if so, they're using I have a feeling they're going to use the children as a shield of protection for them, so that they can try to force their way into the country. I said there's nothing wrong of people to lawfully come into the United States, but you have to go through the process, and it's taken away the about those people who did come in lawfully through the process. They want to jump the line. You never jump the line. Don't jump the line. I'm all for immigration for those who want to be of the fabric of the United States of America and not curse the country behind your back. Because I hear what they say. And I think they tell me because they think I'm from their country. No, I'm from the United States of America. I'm born and raised here, and I'm a veteran. And I worked in different locations, and I see what happens. I see what happens when they, men or women, that they want to get in, and so they get married. It happened to a relative of mine. They had a secret family on the side, in one of the other boroughs in Brooklyn, and she lived in the Upper Manhattan, and found out that he had a secret family, and she intercepted a letter from the mistress suggesting to kill my relative. See, this country is so valuable that you have people who do really conniving things to its fellow citizens, regardless of race. And when they come, some of them would do anything to enter. And I feel they're going to use their children or alleged children, may not even be theirs. It could be kidnapped children. Hold them up and say, oh, you can't hit me, but I can throw a rock at you and knock out your eyeball. But oh, I got a baby in my hand. They're going to cry. They're going to do that to force their way in. And if they accidentally get hurt, those little children, those innocent little children, I love children. But I can't stand women using their children or taking somebody else's kid and lying about it, that is theirs, to, to get access to benefits. Don't believe the lie. Don't believe it. Don't believe the hype. I've seen it. I worked in a WIC office. WIC stands for Women, Infants, and Children. And much of the people there were immigrants. And even if you're illegal or legally in the United States, the U.S. has to feed those babies and children. Has to. They get free medical, free food. Who knows what other benefits? And then at the same time, they're saying bad things behind your back. Or they work in certain industries, and then they try to intimidate American born people. And that has happened to me. So I'm very defensive. I'm all for immigration. And again, my growing up, most people I knew were from other, and I got along. Things are changing. Now it's an expectancy with people from certain countries. Get bad in what, get bad in what way? Okay, I couldn't read that. But yeah, things could get bad, that chaos, lack of funding could put other Americans at odds. Resources. It, it, it's, it's potentially dangerous. But I'm just saying, look, when people get desperate, they do desperate things. And now it's in a spirit of expectancy. Oh, I almost forgot to say, the caravan is about 800 miles away from the U.S. border, from the south. And they're putting a lawsuit. Now they're in Mexico. That's a different jurisdiction, different country than the U.S. And they go into, how do you say it? They put a lawsuit against our government that it's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. It doesn't apply to them, the Fifth Amendment. You're not a U.S. citizen. They haven't even stepped foot in the United States soil. They're 800 miles away. Why don't they put a lawsuit on Mexico? They're in Mexico. They say that we're inhibiting them. They haven't reached the border. See that? That's what I'm talking about. Showing contempt. It's an expectancy that we better allow them in and we better hire them. But yet at the same time, they stab you in the back by the things they say. If people want to come into the U.S., they have to come through the front door, so to speak, like everybody else who came in from the into the front door, have the necessary documents, have all these things. I couldn't go into their country and demand that I come in there and get food, shelter, and all that stuff. I can't get that. They'll laugh in my face. Go there. Go there and demand that. No. They will throw you out. And Trump also mentioned about that the U.S. government sends hundreds of $millions to those countries, Guatemala and the other country, and they're not securing their border to prevent this caravan. And Trump says he's going to cut that funding. That's the smartest thing I've heard in days. Don't let people bite your hand and you feed them. I'm very pro-American. I'm very I have a passion for this country. I didn't always have this passion, but life has showed me that I'm to really appreciate my country. When I down in life, I felt very meek. I didn't feel that I was included in the U.S. system. And I said, wait a minute now. Fast forward, I'm a veteran. I'm vested in this country. I love my country, and I want to do the best in what I do with my hands and with productivity growing up. And then you get people who are new and they expect you to give. I was walking in the street just last week and I was looking at this girl and I just said hello and she demanded I give her $1. I said, wow, in my own country, you demanding me? See, it's an expectancy. And an expectancy because they want to have the same standard of living, but they can only get that standard of living in this country, the United States. Why don't they go get the standard of living in their own country? We send them hundreds of millions of dollars, according to President Trump. What's happening? Because they're squandering it. That's the problem. So that's something that's an in-house problem in their own country. And then when they want to come here, they're going to demand, but they don't contribute. You have to assimilate, you have to learn the language and the culture, and you have to respect that country. But they don't respect it, and they want to come here just for the money, and then they send and ship the money back to their home country. That's what I don't want. I am very pro-American. I am pro-immigration through legal means only. And Americans first. See, I can't go into any of these other countries and demand or expect really anything. I don't expect a damn thing. So when you go and visit different countries, I can demand. Excuse my my phone was losing power. Yeah, I can't demand. Be great. Show graciousness. Show graciousness. I wouldn't have a problem. In fact, I would even turn a blind eye to some degree with elite who are just quiet, peaceful, work hard, study hard in school, get on the honor roll, all those positive things. You have people here outside of Latin America that come into the U.S. There are people from Eastern Europe, people from Asia that come here. They're quiet. They don't make waves. They assimilate. So I have no problem with them. They want to assimilate, but the other group, they don't want to assimilate. They want you to change. No, I don't want to change. I don't want to change, and I don't want to change their country. I was taught growing up with my journeys in life to respect other people's country because I have visited other countries years ago by myself before I even went to the military. And I was very grateful when a particular, it was something with money when I was over there. And I was so happy when they did the right thing. They gave me back the right change. I wasn't feeling with the currency. And when I needed help of what stop to get off at, I said, anyone speak English? I want to get off such and such stop. We're such and such, and it helped me. So I learned to respect when you're in somebody's country, especially when you don't speak their language, and don't make demands. Be show graciousness and respect. So this caravan, if they come and they throw a rock, I say use force, real force against them, and may the burden be on them. And shame on them if they try to use children as a wall of protection for their wickedness. Yes, I love my country. And I'm not gonna. I thought a couple days ago that I wasn't going to vote in this coming election, but I changed my mind. I'm going to vote. I'm not going to say how I'm going to vote, but I'm going to vote. And you vote the way how you want to vote. I don't want to influence you how to vote, but whatever what resonates with you, you do that. And so, tying this conversation about the migration, the election, and my family situation, it's all about respect. And it's all about being certain in yourself and knowing what is true for you, and what is right. Do what is right for you and respect others, and no name calling and twisting things around to put guilt on people so that you can get what you want. And who knows what the real motive is behind what you're asking for. So, yes, I, 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 I'm very fervor, have a lot of fervor for my country that I never had before. I was never like this. But I saw a lot of things happening, a lot of things as a veteran, a lot of things that are being done to U.S. citizens, and a lot of things that are happening to Black American people that are being screwed and living on the street, who can't afford medical care, who don't have money for food on the street, and yet they want to send hundreds of $1 millions for these countries that have contempt for us and have contempt for black people. Just because someone has brown skin or black skin who are entering the US doesn't make them a friend of black America. Many of them don't like us and are the first ones to come into our communities, take our jobs, take the space in schools, and so your kid has no seat in school, not enough books, but they're supposed to be our friends. Not everybody's your friend who is a person of color. And just because someone is white doesn't make them your enemy either. I said, go by the fruit of a person's behavior, what they do, do to you. So only you could be a judge of what's done to you because you are not me. So whoever shows respect to you, you continue to show respect for them. But if you see that it's a trick what they're up to and want to take your resources and push you out of your own home, you have to stand your ground. So I love my country and I love its citizens, regardless of race. And vote if you want to vote for this upcoming election. And yes, God bless America and God bless President Donald J. Trump. Yes, and I'm very unpopular in my beliefs, but I stand behind my belief and you stand behind your beliefs. So take care and you all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace, love, and joy to all its U.S. citizens and those who are lawfully in this country. Thank you, and you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.